At DOJ, we're focused on responding to calls for services at reproductive healthcare facilities. That includes training law enforcement officials on responses to calls for service related to the Freedom of Access to Clinic and Church Entrances Act, also known as the FACE Act. In 2023, Post came out with revised guidelines addressing the FACE Act and anti-reproductive rights crimes. These guidelines outline specific crimes and advise on potential public safety concerns. Some of these situations can be tense. Tempers can run high. As a result, DOJ is ensuring you're equipped with the tools you need to ensure officer and community safety during these interactions.
When comparing FACE Act violations with your typical run-of-the-mill penal code violations, you want to consider who is being harmed. Is it a reproductive health services patient, provider, or assistant? Another question to ask is, how are they being harmed? Was there an injury, intimidation, or interference involved? If these apply, DOJ can and will prosecute these crimes.
Now I'll explain some of the distinctions in these types of investigations. Some suspects are repeat offenders, and some clinics or clinicians are repeat targets. Reports documenting frequent conduct of a particular suspect is incredibly helpful in subsequent prosecution. These are also specific intent crimes, where the details you provide can make a significant difference in these cases. If you have it available, we recommend referring to the laminated 3x5 card, which contains detailed questions for officers to ask. If you can't access this card, try to ask detailed questions and obtain detailed statements from witnesses. Also recognize that these are now wobbler crimes. You may also want to consider whether other crimes may have occurred, such as 422, 594, or 245. You can look at the back of the handout that lists other potential crimes. It's also important to remember that victims may not want to participate. Patients at these facilities may fear retaliation and not want to pursue criminal charges. That's why it's so vital you document any and all potential witnesses and find out if they were also afraid for their safety or the safety of others. Remember that context matters. In some instances, the conduct you're responding to is not a crime in other situations, like recording in a public place. So please ensure that your report indicates the specific location of the crime and the knowledge the suspect has of the location. For example, any signage. Details assist tremendously in developing a provable case.
Next, I'll share some additional top-line recommendations with you. Please respond when called. These are ongoing situations that often need to be diffused. Some victims have reported to us that not all law enforcement agencies respond to these type of calls for service. So we're asking you to please think of these calls just as you would any other call. Unless this goes against your department policy, please err on the side of drafting a report and not simply typing in call logs or incident notes. Even if you don't believe you have enough to arrest someone, these details are crucial and can be used to corroborate a civil restraining order or to establish a pattern of conduct if the suspect is arrested again.
DOJ is here to support you and to offer guidance for your investigations on these types of cases. And our office can review for prosecution and consider charges. Making sure law enforcement agencies understand our role and have clear information about the process is a critical part of ensuring the effectiveness of our work under the law. For more information, please visit oag.ca.gov.